that the film, and don't take it the wrong way, would be as close to a reading as can be, without sets, without cameras moving, without,
I can just make a short comment on that, because that was actually the first. The idea was, remember how much fun we can have at a reading, right? When there are no props and stuff. So it is, yes. It's the idea is close. Yeah. Sorry.
Nicole, Stellan, did you have that feeling from the word go?
You go.
You go. You got your glasses
on. That it was close to a reading. I felt that it was either going to work or it wasn't going to work. It was like saying, okay, I'm willing to take this journey with you because I admire you and I believe in your belief. And Lars had a very strong belief in the film working as a whole, without sets, without props. I mean, there was a chalk dog on the floor, the sketch of the dog. And I saw that and went, okay. And then we did some rehearsals where I pretended to pat the dog, and off we go.
So have you ever had a real dog? Do you know how long it would have taken
to get it right?
Yes.
But I think once you make that leap of faith with something like this, then you're into it and you emotionally commit to it. And once you're emotionally committed, you have to trust your director. And the great thing about this was that Lars is behind the camera. He operates the camera the whole time. So he's carrying around this huge contraption. And you feel his presence there the whole time. And there's something very safe about that. And even when he says, go again, you don't really cut. You just sort of keep shooting. You shoot out the mag, and then he puts in some more film, and you go again. So it takes the onus off actually performing, and it becomes a very intimate, precise experience, actually.
Spécifiquement
les conditions de tournage
que le plateau serait nu.
Voilà, plutôt théâtral, quoi.
Did you?
Well, I knew about the conditions because Lars told me very early on how he was going to shoot it.
Yo!
I think it was even. It doesn't work. I think it was. I'm a theater actor. I don't need that. Well, Lars told me very early on about the conditions of this shoot. I think even before I read the thing. So I knew it very well. Go on. Nicole, it's you.
That's how Stellan, when we do the first rehearsal, that's how he acts. So you can see why it takes some time to work with him.
Who has the mic? Go ahead.
Hi, Dana Thomas with Newsweek magazine. This is for Nicole. When Lars von Trier came a few years ago for Dancer in the Dark, Björk was in quite a state, to put it mildly, and renounced acting after that. How was it to work with him once you had your long talk and walk in the woods? And did he pull something out of you that you didn't think you would see? How did you grow as an actress through working with him?
It's so difficult to know how you grow or how you change, and I don't know. All I know is I trusted him. I don't know why, but I did. And I think that is such an important part of an actor and a director's relationship, is trust. And I arrived there and I just said to him, I'm going to trust you. And that's what I do every time I work, because I don't think you can go into it with any other way of being. I mean, I think the relationship between Lars and Björk resulted in really extraordinary work, and the conflict actually probably fed into their work in a way that they were unaware it was going to, and it resulted in Dancer in the Dark, which I think is magnificent. So for us it was a different experience. It's that simple.
Madam.
Right. Nicole Mary Colbert from The Australian. Hello? Down here.
Over there.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi. It's it's sort of been documented that you are impeccable about keeping a journal, and you did say that there are other things that you want to do later on in life. Is writing one of them, and is producing your own or directing? What else, apart from possibly having a family?
I have no desire to direct. I'm terrible at making decisions, and being a director you have to make many, many decisions constantly, and I much prefer to be in the position of not having to make the decisions. I produced In the Cut because it was a book that I read years ago, and I just went and used my own money and bought the book and then took it to Jane and said, this is something I think that you and the material would do very well together. But I'm not interested, in becoming a producer. I love being an actor. That's my commitment and my passion artistically, and that's what I want to do. The other things I want to do in life are, there's so many, and to list them off sort of makes them trivial. So, but I certainly have, I would hope many other things besides just this sort of life ahead of me, because I think also this life is a burnout life in a way. You give so much of yourself that ultimately you say, I'm going to have to step away from this at some stage. This can't be what I'm going to do forever and ever. It just, so I look at it as something that will finish in its own time, and it won't be like, oh, now I'm going to suddenly quit. It will just slowly sort of dwindle away. So,
Madam?
Yes. Hello, Leslie Felprin from The Independent in the UK. This is a question kind of for all of you, but particularly for Lars. You said this is the beginning of a new trilogy. Could you talk a little bit about Mandalay? And you said the next trilogy would be US of A. So is this U, S, or A?
This is you. Yeah, I thought that was very clever. And that's why it's 3. But if we have off, then it's 4. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I would like to tell the story about Grace, what is happening with her in 2 films more, and I would like to make them in exactly the same style. So you will be so bored by the style, but it's very natural for me to find something new and to do something new, and this is something I've told myself that I should do. I should do more films because I feel that is maybe even mature to do, because then you really mean it. And it's not fun. Of course, it's more fun to invent something stupid, new stupid things. But this is we stick to the old stupid stuff. And I would like to tell the story about Grace in 3 episodes. And I would like to do it with Nicole, and we had a talk about it yesterday. And Nicole said to me that she wanted to do it also. Could you tell it? Could you tell it to the people here also that you want to do it? Could you?
I mean, obviously, I think I've never made.
Just say it very clear. Very clear. Yes, I want to do these films with you. Yes, I want to be the Grace through all the 3 films, no matter what it will cost me. This is.
It's brutal.
Just say yes.
Lars, I'm making the trilogy with you. Okay. You know that, we discussed that. But I like the idea of making 3 films, playing the same character through a trilogy and making them with Lars. I think that that's interesting. I've never done it before, and that's something that that's obviously my commitment to you. So.
This is a less friendly question. Earlier this week, Samira Malbaf talked about Taliban thinking around the world. I think it might apply to your films. Since Breaking the Waves, you've put 3 movies with 3 actresses in which the last act of each of the films is torture, torture, torture of the actors, torture, death, hanging, rape, humiliation. And not to my surprise, once again, you have the actors in chains in the last part, and many men sleeping with her, and the usual. So my question is very simple: why do all your movies have actresses tortured in the last act? What is that all about? And why women? Why women? Why women?
Well, I don't think it's that exciting when it's men that are tortured, you know. But that's a personal thing. Well, I can only repeat that I don't think it's that important, you know. Of course, for some, on some levels it's important if you are male or female, but that I think that's kind of a superficial way of looking at the films. Oh, that's not how I look at the films. I know I'm telling the same story, but so does a lot of other directors. That's what you can do in life, you know. I'm sure journalists does the same, only, you know, they change the names and then it's a new story. We can also call it style or whatever. Yeah, I'm sorry about it. If you don't like it, it's fine. There are people that like it, you know. That's the thing with the chain. The gentleman at the end of the table is kind of.
But I was.
He thinks it's a little hot, I'm sure.
No. I will use the word intriguing.
Intriguing, yes, but that's what I meant. Sorry. Yes.
Thank you.
How was it working with Mr. von Trier compared to what you had expected, and how far have you gone? Because I know you're committed to doing 2 more films as Grace. Have you come far in preparations for Mandalay yet?
First of all, I always believe in judging somebody based on your experience with them. Obviously, Lars has different people have said many different things about him. My relationship with him was very, very good. I mean, I arrived in Sweden, and the first week was tricky. Our rehearsal week. Oh, no, he looks offended. But it was. I mean, that was 2 people getting to know each other, and I think Lars had preconceptions about me, and I probably did about him. And then we went off walking in the forest and had a heart-to-heart one afternoon.
Good or bad?
It was a pretty difficult few hours, but we came out of it with a very pure commitment to each other, which I think is what you can offer as an actor to a director who you believe in. You say, I'm here because I believe in you and your talent, and I want to help facilitate your vision. And that was the basis of a 3-hour warts and all, tears and screaming and walk in the forest. And then we continued on for the next few months. And I am very, very committed to him and to his work and to being a part of, as Stellan is. And I think there's a number of actors who want to be a part of Lars's life and his creative life. So.
Hi, it's Stephen Garrett from IndieWire. Lars, a question for you. This film is set in America, and I'm just wondering if you'd considered setting it in another country, and if not, why is this story to you a uniquely American story?
Well, first of all, it's not uniquely American. I wouldn't say that. My idea was to make some films that took place in America. I liked the idea of setting it in a country where I had not been. I thought that was, of course, it becomes different that way, and I'm not saying it has anything to do with America. Only it has to do with the feeling I have, and of course the knowledge that I have of America. And if you look at the Danish media, so if you look at the Danish television, then about 80% of what you see on Danish television has to do with America or is American. So I have a big knowledge, even though I haven't been there. I know it's on second hand, and maybe that's what's interesting about it. But the story could have taken place all around the world. There's no question about that. But somehow the whole style of it, I've been reading Steinbeck, you know, and a little bit. But kind of when I just asked myself, how would it be? Then it was it is to me America, even though it might not be America to people who come from there. But you know, just a word like Rocky Mountains, if you haven't been there, it's kind of a magic word. It's kind of fantastic, you know. Rocky Mountains, wow. You know, and then you can use that and write a story that takes place in the Rocky Mountains. Sounds like something from a children's book, right? So that's how I work.
Afterwards.
Nicole, Jeannie Wolf. Hi. How are you? The last time you came to Cannes, it was a very different time for you emotionally. Now you have such approval for your work, such great success behind you. What does Cannes mean this time? And then second part to the question, you said that the performance and the hours working on that film saved your life. How would you describe what this film did for you personally?
Stellan. I've been to Cannes 4 times over a period of 10 years now. So I've had different experiences every time, and obviously that's part of the exciting journey as an actor, is doing diverse work and being able to then come with all different types of films. Moulin Rouge to this is a very, very different experience for me, and I'm in a different space in terms of my, you know, where I'm at psychologically. This, I mean, The Hours was a very personal film for me, but this, I think I've started to realize that every film I make now is a very personal film, and that's just happened. I think before I was able to disassociate more, and now I'm not able to. And I'm willing to be very exposed and open about that, and I think that's sort of the journey of an artist, really. It's what you hope for. So this, at the time, was what I wanted to do. I was raw. I was willing to give that to Lars, and I was willing to explore this story with him at that particular time. I'm not answering terribly well at all. I don't know what's going on here. Ask somebody else a question.
Question over there, then a question over here.
Yes.
Then a question over there, then a question over here.
It's a question for Nicole. Aubry Menson, Ciné Cinéma. I spent the whole day yesterday with the people behind the fence, the fans and the public. And I was wondering, what did you feel and what did you think when you see all these people waiting all day long in the sun, just in the hope of seeing you few seconds?
That was yesterday?
No. I spent the whole day yesterday with them.
Right.
And they told me that they were going to wait all day long today, just with the hope of seeing you a few seconds tonight. How did you feel?
That's how we worked also. We waited and waited on the stage.
That is so not true. Stellan, dispute that, please.
That's not true.
Thank you, Vibeke. Never, I'm like incredibly punctual. I can't bear to be late to the set. Lars is being facetious. I think, I mean, there's something that, you know, I do, which is, I was a kid that waited, you know, to see ABBA, which I've mentioned before, but so I've been in that position of actually, I remember also being taken to the set by a production designer friend of ours, and I was taken to the set of Year of Living Dangerously, and I saw Mel Gibson from afar, and I remember thinking, oh, he looked at me. He has absolutely no recollection. I was about 10. But I think that it's important that you always remember that, you know, and there's something that I do, which is I try to, you know, you try to sort of have some contact where something that is, where even if you're just looking or if you go over and shake people's hands, I mean, that's just, you know, that's what I like to do. So, and
Actually, in the film,
I try, but I think that it's important to remember where you're at and where you've come from, so that you're constant, so that you never get trapped in the world that you exist in, you know. And it is a very surreal experience when you're, you know, everyone else is out there and you're back here, but then you cross over that, and I think it's always important to sort of still jump on the hotel bed and go, my God, I'm in the Hotel de Cap.